Hi, Mrs. Han. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Mr. Chai. Good
Yeah, good
afternoon.
to see you. Thanks for spending this time with me and having
Yeah,
this chat.
thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, so I know this is kind of a new thing, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to just have a conversation with you. I know over the last 7 weeks now, can you believe it? 7 weeks.
Mm,
My gosh, time's
yeah,
flying.
that's a long time. Yeah.
But we're almost done with our summer program, and I know you've been vigilantly monitoring, not just monitoring, but you've been spending a lot of time with our kindergartners, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot of
They're so
fun.
adorable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh man. Um, but yeah, I think now that we're kind of approaching the end of our summer program and now we're starting to look forward at the upcoming school year, I thought maybe we should kind of revisit this question that I think a lot of people are still having, which is remote learning, now that we've been doing this for a while, is remote distance learning as effective as in-person learning? And I think the answer is obviously not, right? Like, what do you think about that?
Obviously we can't replace in-person learning with remote learning, but
Mhm.
I will say we've done a great, an amazing job at it. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm excited to share some of the things that we've actually done to make it effective.
Yeah. Well, why don't you share with us? Because I think that might be of interest to some of our families, but also to maybe other people who are watching us, because we're kind of doing some great things. Because despite the fact that obviously distance learning will never replace in-person learning, we've been doing a lot of stuff to ensure that we get as close as possible so that learning isn't being lost. So, I mean, what have you guys been doing in K to 3?
Well, we've actually, towards the end of the spring, we've targeted every single subject, which has been amazing. And the teachers met almost every day to make sure that we are aligned and that we're making sure that the students are engaged and motivated. And so, speaking about that, I think our teachers are one of the most effective teachers, and
Right.
because of that, we're able to target the student achievement and yeah, just go above and beyond. But those are the things we have been doing. But as younger grades, I think not only the core subjects are important, but as well as engaging their time with extracurricular activities as well as virtual field trips. So we've been trying to, make it fun, but also make sure that all their learning objectives are targeted.
Yeah, it's almost like being online, as inconvenient as it can be, it almost opens new doors for us that we might not previously have been able to access,
Right,
right?
right. And I think that is an area where we found ourselves, researching and learning about, wow, these do open up new doors, and in that aspect, it's been really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying, it highlights something that has been a real hallmark of what our strategy has been during this time, because we've been hearing stories from, our colleagues and compatriots and, public school districts, other schools, and, they're trying to generate the best solutions that work for their population. I think for us, we've really resolved from the get-go that even when we transition to remote, we're still going to spend time with kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not going to be, let's just check in with you and then I'll see you guys next week. We've heard schools doing that, right?
Right,
But
right.
for us, we've really tried to endeavor to spend time with kids every day, making sure that, the predictable routines that we had in place, we're just making sure that we transfer that over into a virtual environment. And I think that's made all the difference, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I know we can be reading with our students for, 15 minutes to 30 minutes every day, but on top of doing so, we wanted to make sure that we met every day to make sure there's teaching going on as well as students completing their work, and that teachers are monitoring as well as dialoguing with our students. And so we allotted, a few hours of our day to make sure that that's happening, and I think that made all the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think that kind of highlights we've called these terms synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. And I know those are big words that a lot of people don't even care about, but really all that means is supplementing the work that our students are expected to do independently we're having regularly scheduled times where our teachers are interacting with, teaching, and continuing to develop their relationships with their students. And I think that's been NCA's solution. I think that's why I think maybe you would agree with me that I'm fairly optimistic and confident even that at our school in particular, I don't think much learning was lost. Of course, I mean, we prefer to be here with the students and have students here in the hallways and the classrooms. There's just a joy and a vitality they bring. But insofar as we have to do distance learning, I thought our synchronous time and our regularly scheduled time with our kids, that's made all the difference.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in the beginning, I was also thinking, are our kindergarteners and first graders able to sit in front of a screen for a certain amount of time and continue on the learning? And actually now, having done this and also being in the classroom as a kindergarten teacher over the summer, it's been really great to see that our students are able to learn as long as we're guiding them in their learning and keeping them engaged. And so for our younger grades, we have to make sure that we're going from one thing to another and there's continual transition so that that they are engaged. And and we've even, change the schedule for them in doing group A and group B and making sure that we focus on with our first group and then we move on to our second group and going back and forth in that way. But it works, and I'm glad to say, it works and that students are having fun, but also at the same time learning.
Yeah. Well, thanks for checking in with me. I always appreciate our conversations, and I'm always so inspired by your creativity and the enthusiasm you have for this job and for your students. So thanks for making this time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Chai.